It's Click versus Click, Hart versus Hart, and Taker versus Taker. If you tweak some stuff on SummerSlam 1994, you actually have a pretty good show. It's just unfortunate because if you actually, I'm actually gonna count them. One, two, three. So there's 7 matches, and out of those 7 matches, 3 were actually really good. That means 4 of them were kind of dumb. And that seems to be the problem with the new generation era. Um, they just do dumb shit all the time. Leslie Neeson was the host, I guess, or I don't know what he was doing, but he was basically doing like this crime throughout the show, to promote the Naked Gun. I think it was the third movie that he was promoting, but yeah, Leslie Neeson was around here. I really only know him for the Naked Gun movies and superhero movie, unfortunately. But Airplane. Yeah, he did Airplane. But yeah, it was just kind of weird having celebrities around here around this time. I don't know what is it with the new generation era. They thought bringing in celebrities would have been great, and it was. I mean, they do a good job now with celebrities sometimes, unless your name is Travis Scott and Pat McAfee. But um, yeah, this was just kind of silly and goofy, and that's exactly what the new generation was. The new generation era was silly, goofy, and plain out stupid. But we kick off the night with the Head Shrinkers fighting Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS. This was a decent match up until the DQ finish, which I'm just like, "Ugh, enough of these stupid DQ finish. Just shoot me in the head when these come out. They're so stupid. Like, you can make a drinking game out of these. I am straight edge, so I wouldn't know anything about it. But dude, I don't think you'll survive if you ever do a drinking game of how many count out and DQ finishes the new generation era did. These were just terrible. The first real good match and the best women's match up until this point, and this is gonna be the best women's match for a while. Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano. There wasn't that many women in professional wrestling around this time, but Alundra Blaze was practically the female Hulk Hogan. Bull Nakano was a great heel and a great athlete, and this was proof of it. This was a really good match. I really wish that they did more with these women. If anything, they deserve a match at WrestleMania 11. I wouldn't mind if they ran it back. Rightfully so, Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze are in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's great. Um, Diesel versus Razor Ramon for the WWF Championship around this time. Um, it was after the massive ladder match at WrestleMania 10. Around this point, Diesel took the belt off of Razor. Razor was trying to get it back. Shawn Michaels was the manager. They were clearly building up Diesel to be the next face of the WWE. He's your stereotypical guy that you would want on top. And but at the end of the day, guys like Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels were the true athletes around here. Diesel, I don't hate Kevin Nash. A lot of people, I know it's fun to make fun of him in on the internet, but he had a presence. There was that, but he wasn't completely horrible. He was just put in a horrible situation, and it seems like big guys are really good when they wrestle smaller guys. Brock Lesnar's best matches are with smaller guys, and showcase here Diesel's best matches are with smaller guys. This is a really good match, and I really enjoyed Razor and Diesel's chemistry. Tatanka versus Lex Luthor. Tatanka beat Lex Luthor. That shows you how little they cared, but it sounds like he was on the way out anyway, so kudos for that. And I like Tatanka. He was ridiculous, but he was fun. Jeff Jarrett defeated Mabel. I could care less about this. Moving on. Bret Hart and Owen Hart was what should have been the main event. This was a phenomenal match, and this was a great follow up to the WrestleMania 10 match. After Owen beat Bret becoming the WWF champion still. Owen was just like, I deserve to be on top. He wins King of the Ring. He's the King of Hearts. And then we get this great match. And I like that it divided the family, where Jim the Anvil Neidhart is slowly getting a little bit jealous of Bret Hart. Davey Boy Smith is on Bret's side. had many classics in the past, so it was good, the dynamic between the family, and this match was really good. Now, back in the day, steel cage matches had a only one concept, and that is escape the cage. However, Bret and Owen kind of define a steel cage match. This is still to this day the greatest steel cage match of all time. And even though it was just them trying to escape, they actually had wrestling combatants, and they knew how to wrestle the style of this steel cage, and they did a good job. And I like the part where Owen gets stuck and he's still trying to escape, but at the end of the day, Bret is the one that gets the upper hand and escapes the cage first. So even though Bret the Hitman Hart won, he never pinned or made Owen tap. So there was more room for the story to continue, and I'm glad that they did, because these guys clearly have amazing chemistry. They're both brothers, and I love the dynamic. Honestly, the savior of 1994 was Bret and Owen, hands down. So if Bret and Owen didn't main event, what did? Oh, this is what main evented. Brian Lee, aka The Undertaker, versus Mark Calloway's The Real Undertaker. This was basically a story of Undertaker being replaced with another um, fake Undertaker with Ted DiBiase in his corner. Then Paul Bearer comes, no, I got the real Taker, and then he changes his look. He's no longer all white and black. He has purple gloves now. His hair is straight. He looks a little bit different. So I like that they changed up the Undertaker. This was their way of bringing in a new era of the Undertaker. The only problem is that this match was longer than it should have been. It's 9 minutes. It really should have been 2 minutes. It should have been what Undertaker and Kane was for WrestleMania 20. That's what the match really should have been. And I personally kind of have a guilty pleasure for this match. It is kind of fun to see how the Undertaker became this iteration of the Undertaker. And that's the only thing that I really like about this match. So I don't really hate this match, but it is kind of stupid that it was as long as it was. Anyways, that is my review of SummerSlam 1994. Slightly better than most SummerSlams up to this point, but it still had a lot of problems. Leslie Nielsen was around, but they did have 3 really good matches, so I'm gonna be nice and give it a B minus. Yay, something higher than a C plus. But anyways, that's my thoughts on SummerSlam 1994 and 1995. I know we have a classic with Razor and Shawn, but I don't know how the rest of the show looks, so wish me luck.